2009 champions Ghana are out of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand. Mali ensured that this morning with a 3-0 thrashing of the former champions. Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Amogbe. Now let's take a look at the major headlines. Because we're starting with the Super Falcons. Edwin Okon says the game against Australia is a must-win for the Super Falcons. The game is on Friday night at 10 p.m. Nigerian time. Also on the program, we'll be talking about the Super Eagles, and they're really working and training hard for the game against Chad. How are they doing this? You get to hear from the team captain, Vincent Eyama. And in the NBA, LeBron James is 2 games away from winning the championship title. He came home 4. He got a double-double with 40 points and 12 rebounds for the Cavs to take Game 3. And now they lead the series 2-1 over the Golden State Warriors. Okay, now, Twitter is actually buzzing after watching the Super Falcons dance step on Sports Tonight last night. And they really want to see it again. Well, here you have it. Enjoy. Well, that's the Super Falcons, of course, dancing and celebrating. And that dance there was actually before the game against Sweden. I believe that was part of the motivation for them. Well, you guys actually wanted it. Well, you have it. There you have it. And I believe you totally enjoy that. Now, well, we can still be talking on Twitter, of course, on Facebook, on the Super Falcons. It was a spectacular performance, and I believe most of you get to hear your tweet on Sports Tonight yesterday. Also today, just stay tuned for that. You get to hear all your tweets because that is a longer version of Sports this morning. Now, Super Falcons are really ready for the Australians, and of course for Coach Edin Okon, he believes it's a must-win game for the girls. And how are they doing this? They're training hard, they're doing all the things they can do, everything possible they feel they can do. The set pieces they missed so much, in the game against Sweden. That's what they're really working on. And the game against Australia is going to be 10 p.m. Nigerian time on Friday, and so they have ample opportunity and time for them to get ready for that particular match. Well, for Coach Edin Okon, he said a whole lot of things, concerning the game and all that. And he said, well, we will go back to the drawing board to make sure we correct those mistakes of conceding own goals. Remember, Zia actually scored the own goal. It was more like a deflection. It wasn't really, well, it wasn't what she actually wanted. It happened. And not being able to defend set pieces. We played a brand of football that was more of skill to entertain our fans. And of course, they definitely did. Our next match against Australia is a must-win, and we are moving forward from there. Nothing is going to stop us. That's coming from Edin Okon. There's the Super Falcons coach. Well, he's really optimistic, and of course, he feels the girls can go all the way, win that game, and qualify from the group tagged as the group of death. Taya Salam joins me now. Taya, good morning.
Cecilia, great to be here. That clip we just saw now just confirms what I thought about his Super Falcons being very high spirits. It seems the lack of quality preparation hasn't put them down at all. They're psychologically ready, to represent Nigeria. They're having fun, they're enjoying themselves, and I really like that part of it. But to the game itself, the game against Sweden. They could have felt sorry for themselves after going 2-0 down.
But they didn't.
They didn't do that. And so that's another quality, that's another attribute of this team that we have to really admire, because
I think we can give kudos to someone, the psychologist.
Yeah, Kashimito, you could bring her in. Yeah, I'm sure she's doing her job as well.
Very well.
They could have easily just let the guard down, just lay down to be beaten, but it didn't happen that way. They came back, stronger in the second half and got that the equalizer at the end of the day. So it's a very good one, and that equalizer could be very crucial going into the remaining 2 games in this group. The next game is against Australia. The Australians are a very decent side as well too. So I hope the Falcons can actually kick on from there. I always say every time going into a tournament, it's very imperative you don't lose your first game, because when you lose it, you get into a very deep hole that sometimes might be very hard to come out of. But gladly for us, they didn't do that. Very important draw against Sweden. So that should help their confidence and the morale against Australia.
Of course, Australia, remember they lost their first game to the Americans 3 goals to 1. Now, looking at the results from last night, starting with what happened between the game between Brazil and South Korea, where that game was more like a game, you say game of record, because for Mata, remember the girl, her first goal she scored when she started playing at the FIFA Women's World Cup was in 2003, and she scored that goal against the South Koreans. Now she is presently the highest goal scorer in the tournament, and she scored her 15th goal, and now it's also against South Korea. They won that game 2-0. And of course, in the other game of the night, you have Spain and Costa Rica. It was 1-1. Now these 2 teams were actually making their debut at the FIFA Women's World Cup, and of course for them they had to share the spoils there. So it means all the teams making their debut, they've all played. Cameroon happens to be the only one that ensured that, of course, they were taking something out of it. They won their game 6-0. Now in Group F, we had France and England. It was in favor of the French side, winning by a lone goal. Colombia and Mexico, well, it was 1-1. That game was also, shared a piece. Now, Group E and F, well, it wasn't really a festival of goals like you had in Group D, which was really a season of goals. Group D and Group C, that's where we had almost all the goals. Well, fixtures games continue tomorrow. And the first one is China and Netherlands, Canada and New Zealand. So those games are evenly paused because the 2 sides who won their game, it was just by a lone goal. Canada and Netherlands won their opening game. Then in Group B, you have Germany and Norway. Now that is a cracker. That's what everyone is looking forward to. Cote d'Ivoire, well, I have to consider 10 goals in their opening game. They will be playing Thailand, who conceded 4. So these two sides, at least, maybe one of them want to get a point out of this game, or at least get their victory for that. And for Germany and Norway, both of them won their opening game. Germany beating Cote d'Ivoire 10 goals to nothing, and for Norway, they won 4 goals to nothing against Thailand. Now, the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Now, this is a shocker. Mali. I never expected the result, Tayo.
Yes.
3 goals to nothing over Ghana.
Exactly. And I can understand why, because we're talking Ghana. Ghana, former champions, and if you want to compare the pedigree of both sides at this level of football, then the Ghanaians definitely are better than the Malians. But like you know, football is played on the pitch and not on the pages of not by with history. You know.
No,
so
but if you look at just recently, I mean,
yes.
Ghana were able to beat Argentina. They've won the tournament 6 times.
Yes.
They were able to defeat them at the group stage. So everyone was thinking they actually topped that group, and the Argentines are going home. And you're expecting Ghana to at least go all the way to at least to the final or maybe semi-finals or somewhere. But at the end of the day,
but then they've lost
out of last 16.
Yeah, but
Mali through to quarterfinals.
Yeah, they've lost to a very good Malian side as well. So we have to remember that Mali have a good pedigree when it comes to football as well, too, especially at this level. I remember that set that came to Nigeria in 1999.
Yes.
Solid all-round side. So it's not really it's a surprise, but I'm not really shocked. Okay. It can happen on a given day. Any team can be anything.
Well,
so Mali,
3 goals to nothing.
Yeah, it was
That's a shocker.
Yeah, it was very comprehensive and win for Mali. And if Nigeria now goes on to beat Germany, then we'll have to face Mali.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a warning signal for us right there, not to underestimate the Malians, because we've seen what they've been able to do against Ghana. But then we're not in the quarterfinals yet, so what am I even talking about?
Let's focus on the game tomorrow, 8:30 Nigerian time. That's the game we will focus on. Now, Serbia and Hungary, that game ended 2 goals to 1. It was extra time where the Serbians, they were the ones who carried the day. Hungary, right now, they're out of the tournament. So you have 2 teams in the quarterfinals already, Ghana and Serbia. Now, Nigeria and Germany. That's the big game for tomorrow. Well, if you look at the record at the group stage now, for Nigeria, they won just 2 games because they lost 1 to Brazil. That's their opening game. Goals conceded, well, goals scored about 8, and they conceded 4 in that group stage. Now, looking at the Germans, well, for them, they won all 3 games, maximum 9 points, scored about 16 goals, conceded just 2. Looking at both sides, well, it's not really close at all.
Yeah, but then, those are records. But those are records.
Just group stage.
Yeah, in the group stage, but it wasn't between Nigeria and Germany. It was Germany against different opponents. It was
Fiji,
Nigeria, exactly where I'm going to. It was Nigeria against, I think, a stronger opposition in terms of Brazil, Hungary. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm not really that record. I'm not really going to come to any conclusion from it at all. What I want to say is, going into this match against Germany, the Germans, we've met them twice at this level before. It's been 1 win for Nigeria, 1 win for Germany. We scored 4 goals, they scored 3 goals. So you can say Nigeria has the edge there. Going into the game, there's no bad historical perspective to worry the guys. Unlike when they played Brazil, you know, sometimes that can affect you going into a game, but they don't have that to worry about. They're fully focused on playing the Germans. They know they have what it takes to beat the Germans. But then, believe me, it's not going to be easy at all. For Nigeria to actually come through this game, they have to play an almost perfect game.